So I just kind of went back through the video, and I think I got most of everything about that night, about the dream I had. But obviously it didn't stop there. That's why I'm making multiple videos. Is because after that night, because before that night, before the night that I went to the cemetery, I've never had that dream before. And again, I'm assuming it's a dream because, how could it have been real? It's probably just a dream. Because, yeah. But I don't know why, but it almost every night afterwards, after that, it's been going on for a few weeks now. Almost every night I wake up, or at least I think I wake up, just like laying. I wake up in my bed, which I assume is my bed, laying face up, and I can't move my body, can't move my head, I can't even, like, I don't even think I can move my eyes, because I'm just staring straight forward into, usually it'd be the ceiling, but there is no ceiling. It's just the sky, the spiraling lights. It was more like a vortex, actually. That's a better word to describe it. It's like just a huge vortex filling my entire vision, spiraling in on this star or sun, or just giant, like, bright circle. And it almost looks like ribbons, almost like big celestial ribbons, being pulled in a spiral towards the center where I'm looking. And then all throughout this, there's just the massive humming, just the amount of noise that's going on from just the buzz, from all directions. And sometimes I feel the pressure on both sides of my head, like some just giant hands just like holding me in place to where I can't move my head, although I can't move the rest of my body. At least I don't remember being able to do that. And so I'm just sitting there. I wake up and I'm just sitting there watching this vortex, like seemingly just like kind of just suck everything up, me included, into the center of it. I don't know, like it's some sort of black hole or something. I don't know. And then after, I don't even know how long it is, because it felt like an excruciatingly long amount of time. But it was also, I'm also aware of the fact that it couldn't have been more than an hour or two. But I felt it was one of those moments where you're watching the clock and it just seems to tick slower, and the seconds start getting slower and slower. And that's just a kind of a mind thing. But it felt like it, and it was one of those moments where all you can do is sit and watch and think. And I could think. I I was conscious. I was lucid. I was coherent, or at least my thoughts, I thought were, I could think, I had time to ask myself what this is, what is happening, why can't I move? I had time to think of questions, to process what I was seeing. I remember having that ability and then just feeling like I was paralyzed because I couldn't move anything. The only part of me that seemed to be moving was my brain. And it felt like that was going on for like days. That's probably an exaggeration. But it just felt like forever. I was just waiting, sitting there watching it. Watching the ribbons, or like whatever they were, just the spiral go in on itself. It was like one of those optical illusions. And at some point, I wake up, after however long that vision, dream, whatever lasted. Whatever it was, I woke up from it. And I remember, back in my bed, back normal. Nothing outside of my bed has changed. I'm sweating. I'm like, the bed sheets are just completely soaked full of sweat. And, my parents said that it was, that I might have been sick, but I didn't have like a temperature or anything. I didn't feel off or anything. I just felt like I had woken up from a nightmare. And this, the first time that this specific dream happened, I believe it was the night of the 22nd. Yeah, that was the night afterwards, or a couple nights afterwards, after the first incident, whatever. And then it happened it didn't happen the next night after it happened for the first time, because it happened, okay. The first dream, the first one where I was pulled up and saw the sky being split open, that was Friday night. That was the 21st. And then the next night, nothing happened, and then the night after that, is when I had the first dream where I was just sitting, laying up, looking at it. And then it didn't happen the next night, but then it happened again the night after. Like every other night that would happen, except after the second time I had this specific dream, it happened like every night until I think the 2nd, 3rd November. Then it stopped for a few days, and it started back up again. And it's not really a pattern. At first I thought it was going to be every other night that it would happen, because that's what it had been doing for the first few times, but it's just, it changes. And the dream changes too. I mean, the premise, I guess, is still the same, where it's just me staring at it. And I But the main thing, because nothing really changes in what I see, it's just the same scene. The spiral's going in on itself. I can't even, like, there's nothing in my peripheral. Like, no, like, bed frame. Like, I feel like I feel. Like, I can't move my body, but my body feels like it's under, like, my blanket or something, but I don't see, like, bed. I don't see walls. I don't even see trees. But I feel like I'm in my bed, but I can't see it because I'm just fixed on what is directly above me. And my entire vision is just consumed by the sky and this vortex. And I can't look away from it. But, anyways, what I was saying, the sound changes. It's very slight, but when you're there for what feels like an eternity, you notice everything that's different. You notice every little detail. Like, I feel at one point I started like counting the stars as they were like going into the center, because there are also stars intermixed with the spirals. And the drone, the humming noise, the pitch changes every night, very slightly. Probably not even a half step, but just to a slightly different pitch than what I know was there previously. And when I wake up, everything is normal. Except it doesn't feel normal, because, sometimes when I'm, in a situation like at night when I'm trying to go to sleep, because obviously, going to sleep is difficult when you're anticipating having this experience. I mean, there have been a couple of times when I've tried to stay up, and I didn't. I ended up falling asleep, and I didn't have the dream. Then there are times where I stayed up for a very long time, eventually fell back to sleep, and I did have that dream. That's happened several times. The last time I remember having a dream like that was Friday night, the 11th. It's been a few days since then, which is the longest it's been since the first night. It's the longest I've been since not having any of those dreams. I doubt they're over, but I don't know, because I can't explain it to anyone. No one really believes in what I say anymore, and that's my own fault. Because I am the boy who cried wolf, of course, and no one's going to believe me if I just say that I am having apocalyptic visions of something. But I know what I saw, and I know it means something. It's got to mean something. I mean, this entire thing has to mean something. Those things from the lake aren't here just... It's all connected. It has to be. It has to be all connected. Except it's all over the place, but it has to somehow be connected. I don't know how. I get paranoid, because, in those nights where I don't want to fall asleep, just like sitting there in my bed, just waiting. It approaches that silence of the first dream that I had. You know, the just completely silent nature of the forest before I was just ripped out of it. And when I'm in that moment, when I'm sitting in my bed and it is that quiet, I start panicking, thinking that it's gonna happen, you know, that it's gonna happen again. So I'm just like overtly paranoid in bed. I mean, I try reading. I don't want to go outside anymore. But you know, and sometimes I think I see things, but it's just my brain being overtly active and, you know, making up things that aren't there, you know, just paranoia. And that's got to just be my brain. That's got to be just a normal psychological function of paranoia and insomnia going hand in hand. But I know that the dreams mean something. I mean, I've had, you know, reoccurring dreams before, but it was never this vivid. Like, if I close my eyes, I can still I can't see it, but I can imagine the view just in front of me. And I imagine what it's like. And I don't know what it means. I don't know why this is happening after I went to the cemetery. And I was just waiting for something, waiting for an answer. And what I get back is just this. A vision. I have no idea what it means. You know, to think that I've been trying to figure out this whole mystery for so long, and then this just throws a new wrench into the equation. And I have more work to do, and I can't access the entry anymore. But I already figured that I'd have to wait until next year sometime to do that. But, you know, it's